Ever wondered if your advertising dollar is really working for you? If your ad would have been here, you and more than 4 million people would be listening to it right now. Contact ads at XZoneRadioTV.com.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Unwilling to be the government's deadly assassin, gifted psychic Kahara Mitchell went AWOL and ended up buried under rubble in the wake of a great tsunami. She regained consciousness far from Earth on the medical ship of a Daguerreonian intergalactic fleet. Has she been rescued or abducted by aliens? The Chalice of Carrie, Kahira O'Donnell's latest paranormal science fiction romance, is the passionate story of an Earth woman and her destined mates, twin kings from another galaxy. Kahara uses her gifts fighting alongside Lords Rom and Ra in a war that will determine the destiny of galaxies. The Chalice of Carrie by Kahira O'Donnell is now available at KahiraO'Donnell.com or at Amazon.com.
The X-Zone radio and TV show is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone radio and TV show or in any manner endorsed by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, Talkstar Radio Network, its affiliated stations, or employees.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Somewhere out there, beneath the pale moonlight, someone's thinking of me and loving me tonight.
Somewhere out there, someone saying a prayer.
Welcome back to the X-Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell, and we're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free 1-800-610-7035. My email address, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On Skype and MSN, X-Zone Radio TV. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is a lady we've had the pleasure of having on the show before. Betsy Lewis is her name. And Betsy is the author of Angels, Aliens, and Prophecy, The Connection. And she also has a new book out that we're going to be talking to Betsy about, Mystic Revelations of 13. And Betsy, welcome back to the X-Zone.
Thank you, Rob. Great to be on your show again.
Hey, congratulations on a new book, Mystic Revelations of 13. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's about 13, which is a real mystical number.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, Pythagoras, who was a mathematician and Greek philosopher who lived from 580 BC to 500 BCE, said that he felt that numbers had souls and held magical powers.
Wow.
And I believe that too. I've worked with numerology, and I find that numbers do have power. And it seems that throughout history, 13 is one of those power numbers. Mm-hmm. And I know there are other numbers like 11 and 22, 29, but 13 seems to keep cropping up all the time.
You know, I'm sure after spieling off those numbers, you have a little nun in a Catholic church yelling bingo right now. 13, talking about theology, is very important. You have Jesus Christ and the 12 apostles, Friday the 13th, the day that Christ was crucified. So the number 13 certainly does play a significant part in society as well as religion. For example, I don't know very many buildings that have a 13th floor.
Right,
Yeah.
Exactly. And isn't that funny? We're so superstitious. And where does that come from? They say that Jesus died on the cross on Friday the 13th.
Yep.
So Friday the 13th is just a bad day for people. And maybe it is. I don't know. But it can be a lucky day, too.
Sure.
And it's what's interesting about it is it's a number central to sacred geometry. It, you can find 13 major joints in the human body, 13 lunar cycles in a solar year. The moon travels 13 degrees across the sky every day. There's just a lot of things. It just goes on and on. But I've found some very strange synchronicities with 13. And I put it in a book, which is Mystic Revelations of 13. But it has to do with this number that has been cropping up, the 13, which goes back to the Fantoma Portugal event in 1917 with 3 children.
Yes.
And you're probably aware of that story,
certainly,
right?
the Lady of Fatima.
Yes, exactly. And she first appeared to the children on May 13th, 1917. They were 3 shepherd children, and they were out in the field when she first appeared. She came in from the east. She glided in from the east. She always appeared at solar noon, which is interesting. And she appeared to them on 6 consecutive months, always on the 13th day of the month, and always at solar noon. And she provided all these miracles for them. Nobody else could really see her except the children, but they saw a lot of the strange, a lot of strange things going on.
All right, you and I have to take a 2-minute commercial break. We'll let you clear up your throat there.
My throat? Okay, thank you.
And stand by, hun. We'll be right back. Exonation, Betsy Lewis is our guest. www.betsylewis.com. My name is Rob McConnell. We'll be back after this break. Don't go away.
saying a prayer.
Nicholas P. Jinnix is a lover of humanity and a seeker of truth. Using facts and not opinion, he exposes misconceptions spread by religious and political organizations. While theology, engineering, and science were his fields of academics, history, philosophy, and humanities are his fields of research. His article entitled "The Obama-Iran Nuclear Deal Must Be Stopped" exposes lies by Obama to approve a nuclear deal. This deal benefits Iran domestically and militarily, but compromises the security of the United States. The Jinnix article is provided on the internet link www.rel-mar.com/NG1. That's www.rel-mar.com/NG1. Nicholas Jinnix is a lover of humanity and a seeker of truth. Using facts and not opinion, he exposes misconceptions spread by religious and political organizations. While theology, engineering, and science were his fields of academics, history, philosophy, and humanities are his fields of research. Nicholas Jennings is devoted to informing and educating people. His article titled, "The Obama-Iran Nuclear Deal Must Be Stopped," exposes lies by President Obama to approve a nuclear deal. This deal benefits Iran domestically and militarily, but compromises the security of the United States. Nicholas Jennings' bio and books are hosted on www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Fartlets, fartlings, pongies, and honkers. They have so many names, makes you go bonkers. Rear tempest, butt bubbles, bottom burps, all aside. Why does it smell like a little rat died? Hail the fart, whenever, wherever, whoever. Its existence actually enriches our lives because it gives us those unforgettable moments that we can all recall again and again that are always good for yet another laugh. A new expose on farting. Get your copy of The Endearing Fart by Eileen Dover at www.theendearingfart.com.
Looking in your eyes, I see a paradise. This world that I found is too good to be true. Standing here beside you, want so much to give you this love in my heart that I'm feeling for you.
Let 'em say we're crazy. I don't care about that. Put your hand in my hand, baby. Don't ever look back. Let the world around us just fall apart. Baby, we can make it if we're heart to heart. And we can build this thing together, standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. And if this world
Exonation, Betsy Lewis is our special guest this hour. Her website is www.betsylewis.com, and she has two books that we're talking about tonight here on the X Zone. The first one is Angels, Aliens, and Prophecy, The Connection, and her newest book, Mystic Revelations of 13. And during the commercial break, my producer was busy scrolling down his list of things, and he came across a number of very interesting things pertaining to the number 13. For example, Muslims regard Friday as the holiest day of the week, although Friday has long been considered an unlucky day in many countries. The day may be unlucky for Christians because Christ died on Friday, the 13th. And of course, another thing that he mentioned was Apollo 13. And then remember the Columbia Space Shuttle, Betsy?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, it went into space on 1/16/2003, which when you add 1 plus 1 plus 6 plus 2 plus 0 plus 0 plus 3 equals 13.
Isn't that amazing? Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, the Illuminati is supposed to be, they love the number 13, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look on a $1 bill, you'll see 13 everywhere. You'll see it, 13 leaves on the olive branch, 13 berries, 13 stripes, 13 arrows, 13 stars above the eagle's head, 13 letters, and E pluribus unum, I can't even get that out there, and 13 letters in Inuit septus. So, that's supposed to be the 13 satanic families.
Yeah. Now, you and I were chatting during the commercial break about some news NASA came out with today. Share it with our listeners.
Right. Well, I think this is all tied with that 13 number. They released today, and I guess it happens every 11 years, the sun does a complete magnetic field flip, a total flip. And they're saying that this is expected to come in the next 3 to 4 months. and it is going to affect the whole, it'll cause a ripple effect throughout the whole solar system. Isn't that interesting? And, that kind of relates to the last event that the children were given on October 13th, 1917, when 70 to 80,000 people witnessed what they thought the sun falling from the sky. And, I kind of wonder, there's just a lot of things I keep thinking that something's going to happen with our sun. And NASA's been saying that this is going to be a big solar year. And, of course, the sun's been very quiet, right?
It sure has. In fact, this is what NASA had to say. Something is about to happen to the sun. According to the measurements from NASA-supported observatories, the sun's vast magnetic field is about to flip. And this is a quote, "It looks like we're no more than 3 to 4 months away from a complete field reversal." And this is according to solar physicist Todd Hokusama of Stanford University. And he further says this change will have a ripple effect throughout the entire solar system. Let's see. The sun's magnetic field changes polarity approximately every 11 years. It happens at the peak of each solar cycle as the sun's inner magnetic dynamic, or dynamo, reorganizes itself. Something like a reboot, I would imagine. The coming reversal will mark the midpoint of solar cycle 24. So it seems that this is nothing unusual. So why do you think that this is going to have more than what NASA is anticipating?
Well, it kind of goes back to, like I said, the events that happened to the children. And there, supposedly, it was the Blessed Virgin Mary that came to them. And it began on May 13th. And guess what happened this year on May 13th? And I don't think it's a coincidence. We had 4 major X flares from the sun. Remember that day?
No.
You don't? Well,
no.
Yeah, the sun just fired off right after, one after another, 4 major X-class flares on that day. And I went, whoa, are we being told something? Because the children had been given several predictions by the lady that have come true, and she predicted, the outcome of World War I. She predicted World War II. She predicted that there would be something seen in the sky that happened in 1938 that was a solar event that people saw in Europe, this huge aurora borealis that just covered the sky. It was just incredible, I guess. It turned the sky blood red. And she said that that would be a signal of the next World War, which it was. A year later, World War II started. And, was she a time traveler? I think either alien, extraterrestrial, celestial being, or time traveler, because she seemed to know things. She predicted to the 2 younger children that they would die young, which they did from the Spanish flu that raged through Europe and even in America, that killed, I think, 50 million to 100 million people at the time. So she made many predictions. So I really think there's going to be a solar event.
All right. If there is a solar event, what do you anticipate will happen? If there's a shifting of the magnetic field, how will that affect planet Earth?
Well, I think there's going to be a disruption of communications, our satellites. We just haven't had a huge event like that. And the sun has gone through many, many cycles. And like they're saying, I think NASA is warning us. But I think something is going to happen. And I've been predicting an event for a long time. And it seems like our governments are getting ready. They're preparing with their underground bunkers, and there's just a lot of strange things going on right now. And you've probably noticed and heard about all these strange things that are happening with our Earth right now. There's booms that are being heard all around the world. We're seeing sinkholes form all over the world. And there's just
But
many things that are going on with the
you know,
world right now.
when we talk about sinkholes, I blame a lot of the sinkholes and a lot of the strange tectonic activity that is happening on the oil industry. They're taking
Fracking,
out, you know,
right?
they're taking out the blood of Mother Earth, and then, to
They
me,
are.
that's the oil. You know, you just can't keep taking with nothing giving. You know what I mean?
Well, I agree with you, Rob, 100%. I think what we're doing to our Earth is just unconscionable. It really is. And where are we headed? You know, we can't continue just taking everything from Mother Earth and, you know, not have consequences. And that's what we're going through. Look what we did to the Gulf of
Oh, my
Mexico.
God. Yeah.
You know, and it still hasn't recovered. And it may take, you know, who knows how many years. We're not hearing the whole truth about what happened.
You know, we're
in the
not
Gulf.
hearing the whole truth about that. We're not hearing
No.
the whole truth about the what happened at Fukushima when you know, that nuclear disaster. We haven't heard the truth about Chernobyl because people don't want us to know the truth. It's you know, look what we've done to our environment, for God's sake. Look what we've done to the Arctic. Look what we're doing to the animals on this planet.
Oh, I know, Rob. It just saddens me so
It does,
much.
and when you start connecting the dots, it goes back to one industry, the oil industry.
Oh, the greed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's a crime. It's a shame that people's quest for money and power are ruining this planet.
Oh, you're so right. You know, I never could have dreamed when I was growing up during the 50s and 60s that these things would happen, that our water would be polluted and toxic around the world, our oceans would be dying, and all these things. At least I got to see so many things were still pristine, and now we're destroying everything, and there's just, you know, over 7 billion people on this earth. Where are we headed? It's, you know, we've got to stop the insanity.
Sure we do. Sure we do. You know, there was just an article that was on CNN today where polar bears are starving to death. You know, and look what's happening there. The jellyfish population is growing out of control. Squids are multiplying because the chain, the food chain has been disrupted by overfishing of the seas. You know, for goodness sake, what will it take? You know, and if Mother Earth decides to purge herself of this infection called humanity, we can't stop her.
We can't. We can't.
So all the oil, all the money, all the gold, all the diamonds, all the power, it won't mean a damn thing because no one throughout history, the history of the world, has ever beat Mother Nature.
Right.
And I feel very sorry for anybody who thinks they can.
Right. You know, and I was thinking, you're talking about Fukushima, and just think of all the plastic that is out there.
God.
Plastic will take forever to degrade. It takes forever. And here we are with all these plastics in the ocean. The fish are swallowing
Sure.
it. You know, it's just...
But where does plastic come from?
of oil.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. All right, dear, stand by. You and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Exo-Nation, always a pleasure having my guest on this hour, Betsy Lewis. A couple of books that she's written, Angels, Aliens, and Prophecy, The Connection, and her new book, Mystic Revelations of 13. Her website is www.betsylewis.com. Betsy and I will be back on the other side of this news break. Don't go away.
Come my way. Yeah, every day seems a little faster on.
Ever wondered if your advertising dollar is really working for you? If your ad would have been here, you and more than 4 million people would be listening to it right now. Contact ads at xzoneradiotv.com.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Wouldn't you love to know the secret to everything? Well then, meet Dr. Kimberly McGeorge and her cutting-edge breakthrough knowledge that combines science with possibility. Dr. Kimberly brings real-life answers and healing to those open to alternative solutions. She teaches solution-based programs and classes that will change all areas of your life forever. Specializing in conscious creation, intuitive readings, and energy medicine, you can rapidly shift health, relationships, business, and money and abundance challenges quickly. Receive her best-selling book, Secret to Everything, at no cost by going to secrettoeverything.com/XZone. That's right, transformation can start now. Just go to secrettoeverything.com/XZone and receive Dr. Kimberly's book for free.
Hi, this is Ken Elliott. When I'm floating around the universe, I always try to tune in to Rob McConnell.
Hi ho there, Timothy Frog on Sesame Street. When I want to find out what's going on with UFOs or ghosts, I listen to the X Zone with Rob McConnell.
This is Les Corrigan from Target Internet Development. You're listening to Rob McConnell on the X Zone Radio Show.
This is John Hogue, Prophecy Scholar, and you're listening to Rob McConnell in the X Zone.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Swaying room as the music starts. Strangers making the most of the dark. 2 by 2 their bodies become one. I see you through the smoky air. Can't you feel the weight of my stare? You're so close but still a world away. What I'm dying to say is that I'm crazy for you.
Welcome back, everyone. Betsy Lewis is my special guest this hour here in the X Zone. Her website is www.betsylewis.com. And she's the author of a couple of books, including Angels, Aliens, and Prophecy, The Connection, and Mystic Revelations of 13. Betsy, people are talking about alien intervention, the fact that so many people believe that the aliens were actually talked about in biblical philosophies and in the Bible itself. Why is it you think that they have not made their presence known to one and all for once and for all?
What a good question, Rob. I think we all want to know that.
Sure.
That's a great question. They have. Of course, there was one of the largest sightings on, that was March 13th of 1997 over Phoenix, Arizona.
The Phoenix
And again,
Lights.
the number 13.
Yeah.
Thousands of people were outside looking up in the sky for Hale-Bopp, the comet, and they just happened to see one of the biggest UFOs that was ever seen or sighted.
Mm-hmm.
And witnesses later reported a positive change in their life with clarity of thought, concentration, and a dramatic sense of love and connectedness to family and world. And of course, the military was saying that they were dropping flares. Now, I don't know how you can get those feelings from flares. That's what's amazing to me, but that was incredible. But, you know, it's interesting that the Catholic Church and several of the astronomers linked to the Catholic Church have made several comments about aliens lately, like they're preparing us, you know, that they're going to come out and disclose that aliens are here.
I often wonder who's going to do the announcement, whether it's going to be the church, whether it's going to be the government, or has Hollywood already made it, and is Hollywood actually conditioning us for that event?
Oh, I think so. Remember during the 80s when aliens were really benevolent?
Oh, yeah.
Now they're malevolent. They became evil aliens. But I think we have a lot of species out there visiting us. And I've had several events in my life that I think are connected to UFO.
You know, the good aliens like the E.T. and the aliens in Close Encounters of a Third Kind, in the 80s, they were set for the social mind of those days. In today's society, if it's not evil, it doesn't sell. For example, the creed in the newspaper industry is, if it don't bleed, it don't lead.
Right.
You know, and
exactly.
You know, and whenever you're watching any news broadcast, you always get the bad news first, because they want your attention. And I think that the worst thing anyone can do is watch the news first thing in the morning when they wake up, or read the newspaper. What I do is I turn on the comedy channel. I want to start my day with a laugh.
Good for you. And I think everybody just turn it off.
Sure, you know, there's so much negativity in everyone's world. You and I were talking about genetically modified foods. We're talking about all the microwave towers that are inundating us with microwaves. And everyone, I swear to God, something happened genetically that I didn't catch on to. Apparently, I missed the implementation of a cell phone to the ear of a person when they're born.
Oh my gosh. I know. Where are we headed with all this electronic stuff? I don't know. And, you know, we've just got to get away from that. We've got to reconnect with Mother Earth.
Oh,
and I think that's so important with all these Earth changes going on. We have to connect again. And, you know, that's something I learned when I was very young about Mother Nature. I spent a lot of time outside and observing nature. And I think that's why I've had so many dreams about these events that are coming up. And I've had many, many dreams that have warned me of things coming.
When I was a child, and I'm sure the same thing was for you, Betsy, we played outside, whether it was winter, spring, summer, or fall. You know, my parents made us wear these funny things called raincoats when it rained outside.
And galoshes.
Oh, yeah, right. You know, the good old rubber belly boots. And you know what? We would walk to school. We took a lunch with real food.
Yeah, right.
You know, and what we did is at breakfast, we sat down with Mom and Dad. We went to school, Mom and Dad worked, but at night, we looked forward to having supper with Mom and Dad so we could share what happened during the day and find out what the plans were for that evening, who we were going to see, you know, and do things as a family unit. It was called, wait a minute, talking. That's what it was called. It was called talking. But
what a concept.
What a concept. But everybody in today's society does texting. Oh, for God's sake, if you need to use a phone, here's a quarter. Put it in. I think that what we've done is we've allowed technology to overtake the human society.
We have. We're just so disconnected from everything around us and the world around us that, you know, we're not using our intuition anymore.
No.
our ancestors had to. They had to rely on it to survive.
Yes.
And here we are. We're just disconnected from everything, and we've got to reconnect again. We've got to reconnect with each other in order to survive. And the earth, too, it's so important. And everything has a consciousness. You know, everything is alive, and we've forgotten that. You know, I've spent a lot of time with Native Americans during the 90s with powwows and sweat lodges, and you know, I learned from them, and we just have to get back to that again, to honoring everything.
But you see,
we don't.
but you see, Betsy, what you're talking about is a unique concept that has long been forgotten by most people, called common sense.
Right.
You know, it's easier to sit in the car and go through a drive-through. It's easier to let the kids play with the play on the computer or play with their video games instead of talking to them because you're too busy talking to your friends or texting to your friends. I even know of a family who live in a regular single-dwelling home that instead of the mother calling out or yelling, "Supper's ready," do you know what she does? She texts the three.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Like, how stupid.
Right.
And have you seen how the kids of today spell, read, and write?
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Cursive is becoming extinct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's time that we do something about it before we lose it all. And I think we're very close to losing it all. And the signs are there, but people are too busy texting, walking, you know, looking down, texting and walking than to see what's going on right around them. We've got the environment, we've got the seas, we've got animals that are dying off, and we'll never see them again. As you and I were talking, you know, it's in the near future, you'll have to take your family to spheres, zoos, and aquariums to see what the world was really like at one time, not that long ago.
Right, yeah. Where are we headed? You know, I just think we have to awaken. You know, everybody's talking about that we're awakening, but we're not there yet. We may be getting there, but, you know, we've got a lot more work to do, and it takes all of us doing it. And I think if we all come together in mass, and we can create a new world. We can dream a new world into being. You know, our positive thoughts. And, you know, our thoughts are things. And together, you know, it's been proven, even during 9/11, with the satellites that were going over, they picked up a spike in the geomagnetic field of Earth. So obviously our thoughts do things to the planet, to everything. And we have to learn that, you know, relearn that.
Has there been an increase in activity when it comes to chemtrails?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Really?
You know, I've been watching that since the 90s.
Yeah, I know you have.
They're incredible, you know, and I watched when we have like a weather front coming in, we get all kinds of chemtrails. In fact, I put some on Facebook, and the ones that I take, you know, and I've watched these strange rainbows around them. I've seen these strange shadows that seem to go ahead of them, which is very bizarre. There's just a lot of weird things, and these are not contrails. I know people keep saying, oh, it's contrails. Well, contrails dissipate, and I'm sure you know that too, but these spread across the whole sky.
And they're in set patterns.
And patterns, right, and X's and grid marks.
Tell me, what is the latest analysis of the chemtrails?
Well, weather modification. Of course, they keep talking about that with the barium and the aluminum in it. And, of course, that's going into our water.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's causing a lot of the water to be toxic. I know there's what they call, I think, green water or green-blue water that's forming from algae, strange algae that's forming. The bees, that might be a cause for the bee collapse around the world.
I personally put the bee collapse around the world due to the increase in microwaves.
Ah, well, that could be too.
Yeah.
It
That's
might
just
be
my
several
theory. Yeah.
things.
So, if it's weather modification, we've got HARP, we've got the chemtrails, and if we are doing weather modification, the other countries around the world are doing weather modification. Why do they need to modify the weather if there's nothing wrong with the existing systems?
Well, they say because of global warming. That's a lot of theories, that people have. But I don't know if putting down all these chemtrails in the sky would stop global warming. I would think that it would hold the warmth in, wouldn't it?
I agree with you.
Yeah.
Something doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. Not at all. Well, what are they doing? Is it some kind of control over us? Is it control of the weather? Are they trying to hide something in the sky they don't want us to see? Is it... Who knows? Do you have any theories on it, Ron?
No, I really don't. I really don't. All I know is that a lot of people are really concerned, and the questions that they're asking are not met with answers, but a deaf ear. And when you ask somebody a question and they say, geez, I don't know, that's one thing. But when you ignore the person who's asking the question, turn your back and walk away, well, hold on a minute. What are you hiding? What are you walking away from? What do you know that I don't know?
Right.
And of course, once again, we were talking earlier about the genetically modified foods. We have no idea what we are doing when it comes to GMOs. Hey, listen, I love a big strawberry. I don't like watermelons with no seeds. There's something about a watermelon with seeds that is natural, and all these other, modified foods that we're feeding ourselves. We're going to pay for this.
We are.
Yeah.
Every time man has interfered with nature, Mother Nature, it always ends up in disaster,
Sure.
doesn't it?
Do you want to see me get myself into a lot of trouble? Watch this. Watch this. To see the results of food modification, just look at all the fat people in the world today. Look at how fat our kids are. Not only are they fat because of the food, they're also fat because they're lazy. They don't they don't play sports. They don't go for walks. They just sit on their big, ever-growing butts in front of a computer or a TV. That's not life.
True.
Yeah.
How true. They don't eat wholesome foods. It's easier to go out and get a McDonald's than make a wholesome... I don't think most people can cook out there either. I hate to say that, but, I love to cook. And, I just can't imagine people not doing that. We grow a garden, and I don't want to eat stuff that's from, the stores if I have to, but, have a garden.
That's because people today, my dear friend, are very lazy.
You're right.
And they're all...
You're right.
Well, wait a minute. Let me clarify that. Some people are lazy. Other people are just so damn tired working 2 jobs, taking care of a family, just trying to make ends meet. It's easier to drive through McDonald's than it is to come home and actually spend time making supper. Betsy, you and I have to take our final break for this hour. Please stand by. Exonation, Betsy Lewis is our guest. Her website, www.betsylewis.com. That's www.betsylewis.com, and we'll both be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away. And whatever you do, if you're going to zip off to the hamburger store, don't upsize it. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Slow dancing, just me and my girl.
Born a Shiite Muslim and taught the Quran in his youth are some of the reasons why President Obama has an affinity for Islam and the Muslim people. His nuclear deal with Iran allows them to obtain over $150 billion to stimulate their country domestically and militarily while pursuing their objective to develop a nuclear bomb. A groundbreaking article by Nicholas Jennings titled, "Obama Continues to Lie to the American People," exposes many lies Obama has made. It includes lies to the American people on the Obama-Iran nuclear deal and Benghazi. The Jennings article is provided on the internet link www.rel-mar.com/NG2. That's www.rel-mar.com/NG2.
When demystified, shamanism is an ancient science delving into the quantum level of life. Understanding and implementing basic shamanic principles can empower the individual to heal, manifest, and evolve in these rapidly changing times. Path Home Shamanic Art School is a one-of-a-kind Colorado State certified occupational school training and certifying shamanic practitioners and teachers. We also train individuals simply interested in empowering and enriching their lives through shamanism. Path Home's certification classes are in a week-long block format, enabling national and international students to participate. We also provide online classes and long-distance shamanic healing sessions as well. Discover all you can be. Enter the limitless world of shamanism today. For more information, visit findyourpathhome.com or call 303-775-3431.
Ever wondered if your advertising dollar is really working for you? If your ad would have been here, you and more than 4 million people would be listening to it right now. Contact ads at xzoneradiotv.com.
Tried to amend my carnivorous habits. Made it nearly 70 days. Losing weight without speed, eating sunflower seeds. Drinking lots of carrot juice and soaking over rays. But at night I'd have these wonderful dreams. Some kind of sensuous treat. Not zucchini, fettuccine, bulgur wheat. But a big warm bun and a huge hunk of meat. Cheeseburger in paradise. Heaven on earth with an onion slice. Not too particular, not too precise. I'm just a cheeseburger in paradise.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. Betsy Lewis is our special guest this hour. And by the way, X Zone Nation, Betsy Lewis is spelled BetsyLewis, and her website is betsylewis.com. First of all, Betsy, I want to thank you so much for joining us. Always a great pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you, Rob.
Something else I'd like to talk to you about. We've got about 4 minutes left. What about the world of conspiracies?
Oh my goodness, there's so many, isn't there?
In
It's just endless.
In your opinion, what is the number one conspiracy that ranks highest with you and other conspiracy theorists, people who watch the conspiracies, I should say?
Well, about the Illuminati would be one of the top ones. I think about the aliens and a lot of the things that have happened in our world that we've been lied about. 9/11 is probably at the top of the list, too.
Right.
I know we were lied about that. And I think if everyone knew exactly what happened, there'd be a lot of angry people.
Well, can you tell us in about 2 minutes what you believe happened, or the other conspiracy people believe happened?
Well, I had a dream months before it happened. I dreamed that I saw this huge apple tree, and in the dream, I didn't understand the symbology of it, but the dream, all of a sudden, the tree was just sucked straight down into the earth. And I woke up with just chills. I mean, what could that mean? And of course, when 9/11 hit, I understood the tree represented the Big Apple, which is New York. And I felt the way the tree went down, that it was a demolition, that it was not, what we saw, what we were told that it was. There's just so many things on the internet and on YouTube that shows that it couldn't have been just from these planes.
But when you look at the internet, I'm sorry, I still put it at the largest septic tank that man has ever created, because there's more crap on the internet than you'll find anywhere else.
There is.
Yeah.
You're right.
And
You're
anybody with a $15 webcam can put anything up on YouTube. So how do you let me ask you this. How do you separate the crap from the fact?
Well, that's another good question. I think you have to use your intuition. You have to use your common sense. Like you were talking about common sense. You know, what feels right.
Yeah.
I think, right now I think we're seeing a lot of holographic things in the sky. What is real, what isn't? I think we have that technology. I think the aliens have that technology. So we have to determine what is real in our world right now.
All right.
And, it's tough, but
It
use
is.
your intuition, your sixth sense. We all have it.
Betsy, you and I have to say so long for tonight. I want to thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you, Rob. It's been great.
Take care of yourself, my friend, and congratulations on your new book, Mystic Revelations of 13 and Exonation. You can find out all about Betsy and her great books at www.betsylewis.com. That's BETSEYLEWIS.com. I'll be back on the other side of the news at 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour as the X Zone continues, right here with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada.